If you are over 60, you have probably been told at some point that a handful of vitamins in the morning is a smart way to protect your heart, your memory, your bones, and your energy. One for immunity, one for strength, one for the brain, one for aging. Simple. But here's the part most older adults are never told clearly enough. Some supplements that look friendly on the label can quietly work against you as you age. Not because you did something wrong, not because vitamins are bad, but because the body changes. The liver clears more slowly. The kidneys filter less efficiently. Blood vessels become more fragile. Nerves become more sensitive. And what felt harmless at 40 can become a hidden trap at 65 or 75. That is what I want to talk about today, because thriving after 60 is not about swallowing more pills. It is about taking the right things in the right form at the right dose for the body you have now. So today, I want to walk you through 4 supplements I would be very cautious about after 60, and then 4 nutrients that often deserve much more serious attention in later life. We are going to talk about what can quietly age you faster, strain the heart, irritate nerves, or build up in tissues where it does not belong. And then we will move into what can actually support steadier energy, sharper thinking, better balance, and stronger bones. And by the end, I want you to be able to do something very practical. Look at your own bottles with a calmer, wiser eye. Let's begin with one of the most misleading, healthy supplements of all: vitamin A in retinol form. Vitamin A sounds like a hero. It is praised for vision, skin, and immune support, and in the right form and right amount, it absolutely matters. But after 60, too much vitamin A in retinol form can quietly create problems. Why? Because retinol is fat soluble. That means your body stores it. It does not simply wash it away the way it often does with vitamin C or many B vitamins. As we age, that storage matters more. The liver clears more slowly, body composition changes, and over time, retinol can accumulate. That means something you take every day can slowly become too much. What can that look like? Dry skin, brittle hair, dizziness, headaches, blurry vision, deep fatigue, sometimes even tingling or strange discomfort that people write off as aging. And there is something even more serious here. Long-term excess retinol has been linked with cardiovascular concerns in older adults, including irregular heartbeat risk. That matters because after 60, anything that quietly disturbs rhythm and circulation deserves respect. So the issue is not that vitamin A is bad. The issue is the form, the dose, and the buildup. A wiser approach is to rely more on beta-carotene from foods like carrots, sweet potatoes, and leafy greens, or from supplements that use beta-carotene rather than retinol. Your body handles that much more intelligently. It converts what it needs instead of forcing storage of what it may not. Now let's move to another supplement many people take thinking it will give them more energy: iron. This is such an important conversation because iron absolutely matters when you are truly deficient. But extra iron you do not need can quietly become toxic, especially after 60. Iron is not something the body easily flushes away. It gets stored in the liver, in the heart, in the pancreas, in other tissues. And over time, too much stored iron can contribute to oxidative stress, tissue strain, and wear on the organs. That matters more in later life because men no longer lose iron the way they did in youth, and women after menopause stop losing it monthly too. So unless there is proven anemia, blood loss, or a diagnosed deficiency, many older adults do not need routine supplemental iron at all. And the symptoms of overload are easy to misunderstand: joint aches, fatigue that does not improve, brain fog, trouble concentrating, sometimes even heart rhythm concerns. Many people call this aging, when the real issue may be that they are taking iron they never needed in the first place. So before taking iron on your own, ask for the right tests, not guesses, not assumptions, real tests. And if your multivitamin contains iron, but no one has ever told you that you are deficient, that is worth reviewing. Now let's talk about one of the most common supplement habits in older adults: plain calcium pills. For years, people were told the solution to aging bones was simple: just take more calcium. And that message became so widespread that many people still assume calcium pills are automatically protective after 60. But this is where the story becomes much more complicated. After 60, bones do not pull in calcium the way they once did. Hormonal guidance is different. Absorption is less efficient. And when calcium is taken alone, especially in pill form, some of it may end up in places you do not want it. Arteries, joints, soft tissues. That is the real concern, because calcium without proper partners can harden where it should not harden. And that raises important questions about circulation, stiffness, and cardiovascular risk. That does not mean calcium is the enemy. It means delivery matters. Calcium works best in context, with vitamin D3 to help absorption, with vitamin K2 to help direct it into bone rather than arteries, with magnesium to keep tissues from becoming overly tense and rigid. And ideally, much of it should come from food when possible. Dairy if tolerated, sardines with bones, leafy greens, sesame, almonds, chia, and similar sources. A plain calcium pill on its own is no longer the simple bone solution many people think it is. And now we come to the one that surprises many people most: high-dose vitamin B6. People hear B6 and think harmless. It helps energy. It supports nerves. It is water-soluble. So where is the problem? The problem is that high doses of B6, especially over time, can irritate the very nerves people are trying to protect. And after 60, that risk matters more. Nerves are more fragile. The body handles excess differently. And large amounts of B6 can build up enough to create symptoms that look eerily similar to aging or neuropathy: tingling, burning, numbness, balance issues, weakness, a heavy, tired feeling in the legs or feet. This is one of the cruelest ironies in the supplement world. People take B6 for energy or nerve support and may quietly worsen the very symptoms they are trying to improve. That is why dosage matters so much. Many energy blends and nerve formulas contain far more B6 than older adults need. And if that gets stacked with a multivitamin and fortified foods, the total can quietly climb into a range that becomes risky over time. So food first is usually wiser here. Chickpeas, potatoes, bananas, poultry, fish. And if a supplement is used, it should be modest, not megadosed. Now that we have covered the 4 supplements to be very cautious about, let's move to the better side of the conversation. Because the goal is never just removing risk. The goal is better support. And the first nutrient I want to talk about is magnesium. If there is one deficiency that quietly shows up again and again after 60, it is magnesium. The signs are often subtle: broken sleep, calf cramps, muscle tightness, a fluttery heartbeat, anxious tension, afternoon fog, constipation. People assume this is just what aging feels like. But in many cases, low magnesium is part of the story. Magnesium is involved in hundreds of functions in the body. It supports heart rhythm, muscle function, nerve signaling, blood sugar balance, and bone health. And with age, absorption tends to decline while loss through medications and stress often rises. That means older adults frequently need to pay more attention to it than they do. And not all forms are equal. Magnesium oxide is cheap, but often poorly absorbed. Forms like glycinate, citrate, or malate are often much gentler and more useful depending on your needs. You can also support magnesium through foods like pumpkin seeds, leafy greens, legumes, almonds, cashews, avocado, and dark chocolate. But many people still come up short, especially if digestion is not as strong as it once was. Now let's move to vitamin D3. This is one of the most important nutrients in later life, and one of the easiest to underestimate. By the time people reach their 60s and 70s, the skin makes much less vitamin D from sunlight than it once did. Add more time indoors, sunscreen, less exposure, or less dietary support, and low vitamin D becomes incredibly common. And the symptoms can be so easy to miss: fatigue, low mood, aching bones, weak muscles, poor balance, slow recovery, frequent infections. Many people simply assume they are getting older, when in reality, they may be running low on one of the key nutrients that supports bones, immunity, muscle strength, and even mood. Vitamin D3 is not just a vitamin. It behaves more like a master regulator. It helps the body use calcium wisely. It supports muscle responsiveness. It helps immune function stay alert. It influences how steady and resilient the whole body feels. And because it is fat soluble, it works best when taken with a meal that includes healthy fats. This is also where balance matters again. D3 is even more helpful when the larger picture includes magnesium and, when appropriate, vitamin K2. Now let's talk about vitamin B12. If vitamin D3 helps protect the outer structure of strength, B12 helps protect the wiring. This is such an important nutrient after 60 because absorption often declines with age. Stomach acid can fall. Certain medications like acid reducers or metformin can interfere with uptake, and that means many older adults can eat a decent diet and still come up short. The signs of low B12 are often mistaken for normal aging: fatigue, brain fog, memory changes, pins and needles, weakness, poor balance, mood changes, even brittle nails or pale skin in some people. That is why B12 deserves much more attention than it gets. And the good news is that it is usually very manageable. Food helps, especially eggs, dairy, fish, and meat if tolerated. But many older adults do well with oral or sublingual B12 in moderate doses, especially when absorption from food is no longer strong enough. And if symptoms are present, better testing matters. Sometimes a basic B12 blood test alone does not tell the whole story. Now we come to what I would call one of the most powerful daily supports after 60, omega-3 fats. If there is one nutrient category that influences how you age on multiple levels at once, it is omega-3. These fats help calm inflammation, support the heart, protect the brain, ease joint stiffness, and support cell function in a way that becomes more and more important with age. After 60, quiet inflammation becomes one of the biggest hidden forces behind stiffness, vascular strain, slower recovery, and less resilient thinking. And omega-3s help work against that. For the heart, they support healthier rhythm and triglyceride balance. For the brain, they help support memory and mood. For joints and muscles, they may help reduce that heavy, stiff feeling that makes movement feel harder than it used to. And the truth is, many older adults simply do not get enough. So fish like salmon, sardines, trout, and smaller mackerel become incredibly valuable foods. And when those are not eaten regularly, a clean, well-sourced omega-3 supplement can make practical sense. If someone does not eat fish, algae-based omega-3 can also be a very thoughtful option. Now, I want to say something very important before we finish. This is not a message to stop everything and start swallowing new pills tomorrow. This is a message to get thoughtful. Because after 60, supplements should be more personalized, not more random. So what should you do with all of this? Start by reading your labels. Look for retinol or retinol palmitate in vitamin A products. Check whether your multivitamin contains iron you were never told to take. Notice whether calcium is standing alone without its proper partners. Look carefully at high-dose B6 in energy or nerve formulas. Then ask the better question: what does my body actually need now? Magnesium for sleep, muscles, and rhythm support. Vitamin D3 for bones, immunity, and steadiness. B12 for nerves, balance, and clear thinking. Omega-3 for heart, brain, and inflammation protection. Those are the kinds of things that often matter more than the flashy extras. And of course, labs matter, medications matter, kidney function matters, your own symptoms matter. That is why food first, testing when appropriate, and clinician guidance all matter too. But even without becoming overwhelmed, you can do something very helpful tonight. Take 5 minutes. Open your supplement bottles. Read the forms. Read the doses. Notice what is there that no longer fits the body you have today. Because that is where real wisdom begins. Not in buying more, in understanding better. Age is just the beginning. And one of the most powerful things you can do in this stage of life is stop assuming every supplement on the shelf is there to help you. Some are, some are not. Your job now is to become more discerning. You have spent your whole life caring for others. It is time to care for yourself too. So the next time you reach for your vitamins, do not just ask, is this healthy? Ask, is this right for my body now? Because after 60, better health is rarely about more pills. It is about smarter choices. And sometimes, feeling stronger begins not with what you add, but with what you finally stop taking.